So RNA is the single-stranded polyribonucleotide which functions as a carrier. We have learned from the last page regarding messenger RNA. So it's like acts like a message carrying information carrying type of molecule which carries the message from DNA and then carry it to cytoplasm. So remember, that means RNA is formed inside the nucleus, then it is transferred to the cytoplasm for further function. So its formation is in the nucleus, but its function is going to be in the cytoplasm. So remember that it will be a long thread-like structure. So obviously if a thread-like structure is there, it is possible it may start bending here and there, just like in the case of the primary structure of proteins you learned in the 11th class. It is not possible for a long thread to remain straight like this. It may start undergoing folding. So what happens after that folding is a very easy concept that is called as bond formation. In 11th class, if you remember, you have done a concept of A will always be found opposite to T and G will be found opposite to C. If you remember, we have done this thing in the DNA structure in the 11th class. So the concept is, but if there is a long chain of mRNA or any other RNA, it is possible because if you remember, the whole chain of DNA is made up of sugar, phosphorus, sugar, phosphorus, sugar, phosphorus, repeating in this manner. From 5' to 3', you remember these things were dealt in detail in the 11th class in NCERT, plus in the 11th O section I covered these topics in detail. So the nucleic acid is always written in this manner, 5' and in 3' end. If you have forgotten this, just wait for the DNA topic to start. I will explain this concept once again. So the sugar will always have the nitrogen bases attached in this manner. It goes on like this. Now nitrogen bases are 4 types in the case of RNA. So it can be A present here. It can be again an A, but I am mentioning it as a T here. It can be G present here or C present here. Now it is possible this long thread may start undergoing bending. So whenever bendings occur, it is possible, not always, but it is possible that A may come face to face or it may lie opposite to, imagine there is a T present here. It is possible A may come close to T. So whenever this A come close to T, they may start developing a bond, and that bond, if you remember from 11th class syllabus, 2 double hydrogen bonds and then 3 hydrogen bonds. In 11th we have learned that. So these will provide stability to the piece of RNA. Otherwise RNA is not supposed to develop these bonds because it is a linear structure. It's a single stranded structure. So remember, they are formed by transcription. They are formed in the nucleus. They are formed from the DNA and details now are going to start. So there are various types of RNA possible. So let's start with the last one because these are the small topics to discuss and these are the largest, the maximum time consuming topics. So RNA are of various types. I have mentioned 9 types here. So let's understand the first one, that is the enzymatic RNA. So all those RNAs which act like an enzyme or act like a catalyst are called as catalytic RNAs or enzymatic RNAs. And these RNAs were discovered in 1981 by Czech et al. So he and his colleagues all together discovered the first enzyme, which was a RNA enzyme, and he called it as ribozyme. Remember ribozyme, ribonuclease P, peptidyl transferase enzyme. Today many enzymes have been discovered to be made up of RNA, but at the time it was a very latest discovery at the time to understand the topic that there is a RNA also which acts like an enzyme. There are different functions. You will be learning these functions in the transcription translation topic. So I will not be touching this topic right now. Their functions will come later. So just remember, RNAs can exist like an enzyme and they are called as catalytic RNAs, or they are even called as enzymatic RNAs. they help in the central dogma. Few minutes back you learned central dogma. So just remember, RNA functioning and then RNA to protein formation are controlled by these enzymes. Now the next one is the microRNAs, miRNA or the microRNAs. So these RNAs are basically regulators. So they don't participate in protein formation. They only attach to the cell machinery or genes, and then once they attach to a gene, they will cause increase or decrease in the speed of gene expression. What is gene expression? When the message comes for a gene to become active and form a protein, it is called as gene expression, or enzyme formation or protein formation. These are called as gene expression. So whenever a message comes for a gene to become active or to become faster or to express more or to express less, that means all these controls are regulations. So microRNAs perform the regulation of the gene expression. We'll be learning about this in the last of this chapter. Then the next one is hnRNA. Now what is hnRNA? hnRNA full form is heterogeneous nuclear RNA. Heterogeneous nuclear RNA. Now this name was introduced by Weizmann. Remember this name? This name was introduced by the scientist. This name was introduced by a scientist, Weinberg. Actually, according to him, all those RNAs which are smaller than 8S. Now, I think you still remember the Swedberg's unit, S, or sedimentation coefficient unit. So S, whatever RNAs are smaller than 8S, according to the scientists, they should be considered as a heterogeneous nuclear RNA or hnRNA. Now, to understand this concept, this topic